And welcome, friends, to the ATS News. I am Johnny Anonymous. Here's what's garnering a lot of interest at our favorite website, AboveTopSecret.com. Look out, James Bond. There's a new type of spying going on, and the gadgets they're using are monitoring and tracking software. It appears that America's spy agencies want to read your blog post, keep track of your Twitter updates, and even check out your book reviews on Amazon. According to an article at Wired.com, the CIA's company called In-Q-Tel is investing into Visible Technologies, a software firm that specializes in monitoring social media. Visible crawls over 500,000 Web 2.0 sites a day, scraping more than 1 million posts and conversations taking place on blogs, online forums, Flickr, YouTube, Twitter, and Amazon. Anything that is out in the open is fair game for collection, says Stephen Aftergood of the Federation of American Scientists, but adds, even if information is openly gathered by intelligence agencies, it would still be problematic if it were used for unauthorized domestic investigations or operations. So when you think of spies today, they're probably named Chip and not Bond. James Bond. What do you call a group made up of people from various walks of life, including the military and police, that pledge to disobey orders they deem unlawful, including directives to disarm the American people and to blockade American cities? Well, you call them Oath Keepers, and depending on what side of the fence you stand on, they are either strident defenders of liberty or dangerous peddlers of paranoia. In a Cold War-era nightmare vision with a major twist, the occupying forces in this imagined future are American, not Soviet. The Oath Keepers hope to prevent cities from becoming giant concentration camps. The group's website features videos and testimonials where supporters compare President Obama's America to Adolf Hitler's Germany. It should also be noted that the movement is blamed for spawning Timothy McVeigh, who bombed a federal building in Oklahoma City in 1995, which resulted in the death of 168 people. How are your aircraft identification skills? Several weeks ago, in the aircraft project section of AboveTopSecret.com, a member and his friend were out in the Smoky Mountains and overheard a jet passing by. They both, living near Dobbins Air Force Base in Georgia, have a good knowledge of what typical aircraft look like from both the ground and air, according to the article. Both the jet they saw did not match anything that they had seen or heard before. Just before it came from behind a set of trees, his friend was able to snap a quick yet slightly blurry shot of the mystery craft, and he welcomes anyone and everyone to help him figure out exactly what it was that they saw. Does the White House want to maintain a stronghold on what information filters out to the news media? Communications Director Anita Dunn disclosed to the Dominican government at a videotaped conference that very rarely did we communicate through the press anything that we didn't have absolute control over. Dunn has recently been facing some criticism since she led a White House campaign last week against Fox News, slamming the network as the arm of the Republican Party and opinion journalism masquerading as news. Of course, Fox News has been having a field day by returning a volley of shots back towards Ms. Dunn and her credibility on a number of their TV programs. Who here can tell me who said these following words? The way to make money is to buy when the blood is running in the streets. Or how about this one? Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws. Or perhaps even this one. I believe that the banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. You say you don't recall those? Well, then it's time to get the old thinking cap back on, as a very interesting thread entitled "We Have Been Warned" is helping us remember some of those forgotten quotables, and many members also have joined in to add to the list. I found it to be a very fascinating bit of history that also reveals so much about the men behind the words. And speaking of the men behind the words, the way to make money is to buy when blood is running in the streets? Well, that was by John D. Rockefeller. Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes its laws? Well, that was said by Meyer Rothschild. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. Well, that was from President Thomas Jefferson. Now, I'm sure most of you here have probably heard or read about the biblical account of the Great Flood, where Noah and his son's family escape a global watery doom aboard an ark. But were you aware that there are similar stories of global floods that exist as far away as Tibet? Well, this is just one of the fascinating similar accounts that you will find as this thread goes into a great historical detail on a number of myths, lores, and legends that we Westerners probably have never heard of before. And just on the writing and research alone by this author, I give it a big thumbs up. Every so often, we'll be showcasing an article of original content created by one of our members, or in the least, one that has content that I find interesting to bring to your attention. This particular article is from the beginning of this month and by a member by the name of Schrodinger's Dog of AboveTopSecret.com, who posted up a personal account that he witnessed while driving back from the supermarket in a very nice area of Washington, D.C. A 70-year-old woman, crying, recently evicted from her apartment, sat on the sidewalk with all of her belongings around her. Scores of people pulling up in Escalades, BMWs, and Mercedes were ransacking through her life's possessions. As they fight amongst themselves for pieces of her personal property, she sat sobbing on the curb. After you read about not only the reaction, but also the actions of our ATS member and what he did, I want you to ask yourself if a similar scenario could ever happen in your very own neighborhood. Before we go, friends, I want to remind you about AboveTopSecret.com's video media portal, a wonderful place for members and professionals alike to submit their videos to not only entertain us, but inform us, such as George Knapp's UFO whistleblower about Colonel Philip Corso, or his other video that he submitted about alien abduction stories. It can only be seen at AboveTopSecret.com's video media portal. Check it out. Well, that's going to wrap it up for everybody here at ATS News. We thank you for joining us and hope that you'll stop by once again. Remember, if it's not at AboveTopSecret.com, then it just probably doesn't matter. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.